There's so much I want to say today. So much I want to say. In my anger, as a police chaplain who's gotten to know many police officers, I want to talk about how valuable our police are and how terrible it is that while they were there protecting people, doing their constitutional right to protest, they were attacked. In frustration, I want to talk about violence and how our world just doesn't seem to get it. We're better than this. And in sadness, I want to talk about peace in the reality that all lives matter. And loss is loss is loss. And death is death is death. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, where you're from, what you look like, who you believe in. But that's what I want to talk about. But I feel like God is calling me to talk about something else. I feel like I've talked about all those things before. And if you want to hear what I think on those things, the sermons are on YouTube. We've had plenty of opportunities to give them, haven't we? Instead, the reality is this morning as we wake up, the world around us is hurting. The world around us is broken. Our community here is broken and hurting in ways that we could never have expected 2 or 3 days ago. And I think what's more important to talk about is, as the church, we, as the people of God, how can we provide comfort to the people around us? How can we provide comfort to a hurting community? I think that's more important to talk about today. I think we can talk about all those other things in the weeks to come, but I think right now is a time for healing. And I think we, as the people of God, have an opportunity and maybe a calling to help others heal. And the first way I think we do that is we look at the story that Jesus just told of the Good Samaritan. And we realize that there are people around us who need help, just like this Samaritan did who was in the road. I went to Great Lakes Crossing this week, and I had to go back because I was in Skechers. Eddie and I talked, he said they had Star Wars shoes, so I went to look for Star Wars shoes in Skechers. And they didn't have any of my size, believe it or not. But I found these really cute shoes for Caroline. And I thought, oh, these are great. And they looked huge in my hand. I'm like, someday she'll grow into these. These will be so cool, and they'll be the first shoes that I bought her. And I got home, and Michelle looked at me and was kind of like, we tried, and they were already too small. So I had to take them back. And as I took them back, I was walking out, and there was a couple of, maybe an elderly woman and maybe her daughter, who was still quite older than me. They were walking kind of behind me. And I clearly was at the door first. But I stopped, and I kind of held the door, and she had a walker, and she was walking through. And she said, well, that was so kind of you. You have done your good deed for the day. And the other goes, yep, you're all set for today. And I said, I laughed, and I said, well, actually I'm not, because I'm a pastor. And I have to be nice. And then I thought, I didn't say it out loud, but some days I'm better at that than others. But I thought to myself as I was leaving, kindness isn't something we do once a day. Kindness has to be a habit. It has to be, we always have to look for opportunities to be kind. We always have to look for opportunities to help somebody. We always have to look for opportunities to care for those who are broken, for those who need healing. We have to be the Good Samaritan. Now, what's interesting about this story is that Samaritans and Jews didn't quite get along. Jews looked at Samaritans as kind of an impure race. They weren't like us Jews. They didn't believe the same things. They weren't on the same level as us. They weren't as important as us. And yet Jesus chooses a Samaritan to be the one who helps. When a priest walks by and a Levite, a pious Jew, walks by, he says, no, somebody who's on the outside, who's excluded, who's a different race, who's a different religion, walks by and sees a Jewish man on the road. He's the one who helps. He's the one who acts neighborly. This played out for me this week in a way that blew me away. So Thursday night, I was glued to the television, as I'm sure you were. Friday, I woke up and I went to downtown Fort Worth with Bishop Eric and his wife, Pastor Kendra, and we were down in downtown Fort Worth for the moment of silence, and Mayor Betsy Price was there, and the police chief from Fort Worth was there. You might have seen me. I think I was on TV, although I was trying to stand behind the cameras. And it was just a day where I was just really frustrated with life, and I was struggling, and I didn't know what to do, and I was kind of in this dark place. And then we had like 50 people staying here at church. I don't know if you remember hearing, but this group from Colorado who was on their way south for a mission trip, spent the night here, and they cooked us dinner. And their pastor was a seminary classmate of mine, and somebody who's from Michigan, and so he actually was at my ordination, and it was just really good to see him and catch up with him. And so I came back from that moment of silence, and I was just back there near the Soundtex platform, stage booth thing, and I was just talking to DJ, Pastor DJ. And I was still, down. And in walks a family from the Islamic Center of South Lake. And I saw them, and I thought, I had seen them before, but they walked in, and I thought, wait, I know them. And then I'm like, well, and they had a bag that they came and they brought to me. And I was like, oh. And I was just totally taken back by surprise. I go, what? And it was a nothing bundt cake. It was a cake, a chocolate cake. But it was, and I was like, what's going on here? And he said, my wife and my family and I wanted to give you this as we celebrate the end of the holy month of Ramadan. And so we wanted to share this with you. And I was just, I didn't know what to say. I've never taken anything over there to them. But in that moment, I realized he has chosen me as his neighbor. He has chosen me. Jesus tells me to love my neighbor, and here a Muslim has chosen me as his neighbor. And the impact of that moment was profound. And the more I thought about it, the more I was blown away by it. And I got to tell you, that cake was good. I was going to save it for you all to share, but yeah. We had 50 kids here, so it just disappeared quickly. But we are called to find neighbors, to be neighbors to all those around us. It doesn't matter what they believe. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter if they disagree with us on certain things like politics or baseball or football. They're still our neighbor, and we need to be kind to them. We need to care for them. My classmate from seminary was standing next to me, and he looked at me and he said, "Did that really just happen?" And I said, "What, that doesn't happen in Colorado?" But more than that, we need to be kind, we need to care, but we need to share our hope. We need to share our hope with the world. We need to share our hope with the community, because there's a lot of people who have lost hope, that this world can be something better. I want so bad for this world to be a better place. I want so bad for my daughter to inherit a world that is better off than I found it. And I think it's possible. Colossians, Paul says that we have been transferred from darkness, that God has literally taken Christians from darkness and put them into the light, meaning that we are living in the light of God. It is with us, it is around us, it is on our lips, it is in our heart. The light of God is within us. We are the light of the world, and the light is the hope of God, the love of God that we can spread to others. But the reality is, I don't have to tell you this, you know this, that darkness is all around us. Dark things happen every day. And the darkness is all around us, and it invites us to participate every day. Come and be part of the darkness. Come and live a life where it doesn't matter what you do. Come, sins don't matter. You don't have to worry about hurting others, just as long as you're happy with yourself. Come, be part of the darkness. And we have to stand back and fight back against that temptation. We have to be the one who brings light into the darkness. We have to look at those moments each and every day when we get up and say, I am not going to participate in darkness today. I'm going to be the light. I'm going to go around and proclaim my hope. I'm going to let others know that there is a better way to live, that God's way is a better way. The God's way of peace and love is a better way. We need to proclaim that. We need to proclaim that to our neighbors, to the people we meet. We have to march into the darkest places in our community and in our world and shine. Healing is possible. God can heal us. God can heal our community. God can change our community. And we can help make it happen. And we don't need any special training. All we need to do is be who God created us to be.